didn't you kind of close a door from all the legends that could have pushed you even more when you release a song where you kind of
Talking about
attacking
them.
everybody?
The game plan was totally different, as I said earlier. At that point on, I was first thing first
Merci
thirsty for
Emmanuel.
success. I was thirsty for success. I wanted people
Mhm.
to know me. So I kind of was like, all right, I'm gonna do what it takes. Then we're gonna arrange it later. And I had a game plan that I wanted to get the
She
public
said
from
Damu
Congo.
intro.
Oh, okay, that's the new joint.
Yeah.
Uh, I had a plan that once the song goes viral, I could take all the fans back into the United States and give me a deal to pursue the American music. That was the
Mm.
idea. So I didn't feel like I needed those guys from Congo because I was just there to use their names and as a
You didn't really
stepping
care.
stone to move into something bigger. I knew I was burning bridges and I had learned how to swim already. I was like, since
All
the
right.
bridge is gone, I might as well get mon bouée de sauvetage and learn how to freaking swim because this is
Mm.
not gonna work. Then when I jumped in, that's when I realized, oh man, I'm in trouble. I should have come and really look at it because I seen musician. I really thought the Congolese music business was totally different. So I kind of played myself when after things happened already. I was like, oh wow, I need these guys, you know. But some of those guys don't mind because they also use that record to laugh at the competition. You see what
Mm.
I'm saying? Because musicians they beef amongst themselves. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
I'll say
Well,
something about one musician, he'll laugh. Like the other musician will laugh, ha ha ha. Then when it's his turn, he'll just stay quiet. So they
yeah.
had like a love and hate relationship with that record.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because at some point even there was an artist, I don't want to say the name, but behind the scene he contacted me personally to make a song to diss his opponent.
Oh, so you
And
were
he's one of the
becoming the diss artist.
It's one of the. I'm like the préfet de discipline de la musique congolaise. That's me. If you do
Mm.
something wrong, you just know that I'm gonna be coming for you. That's
Police.
how. That's that. I'm the police of the Congolese music. That's what they. I didn't do that to myself. Like the
They
people,
decided.
just they prefer that kind of stuff. Like I could release like a song where I'm singing like Kaysha. They're gonna be like, yo, nah, man, you need to talk that crazy shit you be saying. Even if it's a hit record, they're not gonna
Mm.
want it too much. They're gonna prefer me to just stir in the pot, talk a lot of shit, and they like that. So I started realizing, oh, the Congolese people, they're addicted to drama. They just like
Yeah.
drama. That's why those musicians also don't get along because the public just keep leading them on.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
didn't
another thing
you,
the fans of. Yeah.
Jordan, say, I appreciate your power, dog. Keep pushing and you will shine on God.
Oh God, that's a fact.
But don't you feel, even if you accept the mission, don't you feel that it's kind of limiting you to a role and just being the, it's just like if you are a, when you are a political artist and you might want to just sing a love song from time to time. Now
Facts.
people are like, nah, nah, nah. What is this? Oh, sit out. Like, come
Yeah, you
on.
getting soft on
Talk
us.
about things. Talk about the politics. Like, and don't you feel that at a point that when people just put you in that box of, yeah, this is Congolese police. Like, what if you want to do something else
It
from
stop
time
it
to time?
stop to it stops your growth definitely because I mean when you release something the people are not engaging the way they're supposed to.
What up,
It
sir?
makes you just think that you gotta go back to doing what you're doing on a regular bit. You talked about that earlier. People want you to grow. Then when you grow, people start criticizing you. They don't want that. That's mostly what happened to me. And people are so in love with what I do that if I was to make an English record right now,
What up,
it's gonna
Maha?
look crazy. It's gonna look crazy. In order for me to maybe do an English record, I need to go find an artist that does maybe English music for people to be like, okay, that's more like it. But if I just come out the gate start singing English, it's gonna be very difficult. Even though those same people listen to American music sometimes, they
Yeah.
just don't want. They just don't want it from me. They just like what I
Yeah, it's
do.
this, and that's this thing where you sometimes you feel like it's you get in those hypocritical positions where people the same people don't mind listening to something and then they criticize you for doing the same thing. It's
The
just
same
like
thing.
when people were telling me, yeah, but you from Congo, why don't you do rumba? And I would
That's a
reply to
good
them,
question. Why have you ever done Roomba?
I did. I have two of them.
Oh, you
But then
did? Two of
I
them?
would reply to them. I would reply to them. You're from Guadeloupe or Martinique. Why do you do reggaeton or why do you do dancehall?
Damn. You
Did you say,
talk.
are you Jamaican? You're not Jamaican. Oh no, but
you
you know
you
it's the
giving
island. I was
you
like,
giving
no, like don't but
yo,
me.
you
It's
vicious.
like
And anybody that answers a question with a question is vicious.
no, and then listen, I would tell the same guys like, yeah, but come on, man, like you from Congo. Some rappers, like at a point, like when people were starting to be more in tune with the rules, they were like, yo, but bro, you from Congo, you stop trying to be, you should stop acting like you are from Guadeloupe or Martinique. And I was like,
Acting.
but why are you guys rapping? None of you are Americans.
That's a
You
fact.
all
That's an
rap in
American
French.
thing.
Ain't you from Congo as well? Ain't you from
Yeah.
Brazzaville or from Mali? Why don't you? Why you from
Want you
Senegal?
Johnny Holiday your
You?
music?
Why don't you mbalach out of it?
That's what it's called.
Where's the
Bala.
malach? And they were like,
I
oh
would have
no,
said
but you know. And you see, it's interesting because people will ask you the question, but they're not ready for the fire.
yeah, yeah.
And me, I was like, listen,
Now you vicious. You just vicious. That's why you coming through
no,
with the crazy answers.
I'm a multicultural person.
Yeah, that's great.
I was born in Kinshasa. I learned to walk in New York. And since before walking, I was in China. Then I grew up between Paris and Brussels. And then I had Zaire nationality. Then I had Congolese. No, I had Zaire nationality. Then I had Ivory Coast nationality. Then I had Congolese nationality. Then I had French nationality. And now at home I speak Portuguese. I'm a
Wow.
multicultural person and I grew up listening to AA and Durand and Depeche Mode and those things. So plus rumba, plus
So
etc. So I had the choice. Simple. It's like when you are a kid from multicultural, you actually have a choice.
yeah, you have a
And
choice.
you choose like when listen, when you on Saturdays it was Zouk music at that club. On Fridays it was R&B dressed well, and on Sundays it was cross colors Kalkani, and it was like hip hop in caves, and
Out of
and so that's
out of all the styles that you have done, like which one you think like will be the one that you most comfortable in? Like you feel like yo, if once I jump in this, I'm in my bag.
all of them.
Come on,
Listen, I'm not in my
all of
bag.
them.
I make the bags.
You are the bag.
Make the bags, man. Like if I do something, I'm comfortable in it. If tomorrow I decide to do a rock and roll song, it will be a rock and roll tune. That's how I do. I'm not here to try. I do things like because my bag is music. It's not genres. When I learn something, like when I decide to do on my piano, I listen to hundreds of songs first.
Oh, you make beats too. That's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah. I
make
mean,
beats
it's yeah.
myself.
So your
So
artistry, your
I,
artistry is
de-
totally different.
I deconstruct music before I want to enter a genre. I completely deconstruct it so I can rebuild it myself with and add my flavor.
All right.
So when I did on Dikwa, for example, in my head I was like, okay, I wanna give a little bit of mapuka, I wanna give a little bit of rumba, and I want it to sound hip hop. I wanna rap on it. Because what people don't understand is like the samples, the drums that I'm using on Dikwa is pure hip hop drums.
Really?
Yeah, those are hip hop drums. Even the those are hip hop
But
drums
you
that
played
are
in
attuned.
African rhythm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then everything else is played the African way, etc. But it's and
So you produced that?
Yeah, I produced that. But when
Man,
you hear this,
so you got 100% on that record.
100%. Yep. But if you listen to the song and you remove, let's say you remove the beat, and I just give you the a cappella of On Dit Quoi, and I'm not telling you this song is that genre, and you just arrive and you hear, first of all, I'm fabulous, African, that's fabulous.
That's definitely rap.
Bro, that's a rap song.
Definitely rap, yeah.
Because the beat could have been first of all, I'm fab.
Definitely.
And that's the thing. That's where you achieve this confluence of genres and of publics. And that's how you have people telling you, hey, listen, I don't like Zouk, but your Zouk, I am into it. Or I'm not into African music, but damn, that On Dit Quoi song.
That's what I hear that a lot from the Congolese. Like, yo, I don't really like hip hop, but what you do makes me want to listen to Lingala hip hop. I was like, okay, I get that.
You have beats. You choose great beats, and you have amazing flows. And then, but when you hear I love how you start. What's the name of the song? Sorry,
Moponami.
The
chosen one for those who don't get that.
When you start Moponami, when you start with in Lingala, you say first of all, salute to the 10 million people dead in Congo. Like, yo.
Yeah, okay.
Like
capturing attention.
The song has it like, it's not just like, of course you have to be to understand Lingala to be able to
get that.
To get that.
That's one thing about rap I don't like. You to really gravitate all the way, you have to kind of like get the lyrics. You can vibe with the beat, but if you don't get the lyrics, I don't even know how I did it. Like back in the days when I didn't speak English, but I was still kind of like getting into the American, maybe because they had good imagery.
I think a lot of people have no idea what I talk about in Kaysha On Dit Quoi.
In English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they love this song and they just know the chorus. They have no clue what I'm talking about. Like I said, okay. That's all they know. They know and they're like, the
beats kind of carry them on too.
Yeah,
the beats carrying them on.
Everybody will choose a and some people will listen to the lyrics. They're going to be, you are seeing some interesting stuff in there.
Nobody was really rapping in English from Africa back then.
Also, and had the video of that quality.
Yeah. So
Julie's saying that you are talented.
Oh yeah. Oh, you watched the video?
Yeah,
Julie baddie. She's acting bad.
Hey, Joel is saying, talking about Congolese artists, they get along in private and pretend to have a problem with one another in public.
I mean, we could believe that, but
it's kind of frenemies.
What I know, it's frenemies. From being a part of the industry, of Congolese industry, they don't really get along. A lot of them really hate each other.
Oh shit.
And some of them, which I usually say like it's a problem of talent and gift. A lot of them are just talented and they don't have no gift, so they get mad at the ones that, like Kaysha's gifted, to be able to reinvent yourself so many times. Now say if there's an artist that kind of like came up in the same era as Kaysha, they might be mad at Kaysha because he's able to reinvent himself 10 times. And they can't do it because they only got one little talent that was given to them. And then they get mad at Kaysha. Kaysha don't even know why he's mad at me.
I just want to play the beginning of the song. I hope I will not get a copyright strike from you.
Don't get strike, man. give me those views, man.
Just that part. Wait, let me turn off Spotify for a second.
Give me those views.
That part of the song, like that moment.
Yeah, avant la bande mes respects n'a 10 000 ans de mort. Yamboko yo bala Mikel babenga mabancha. Y'a place yo Mikolo jamais basala na torde. Sikolo ba licencié la quartier ba kemba fort. Et sika depuis ba rumeur na nous na molacte. Et ba iwapi nzoto maréchal et comme
Damn.
That's a fact.
Bro, like that track.
There's a lot of
That's
facts
my
that's
joke.
being said too. All I do is
Yeah.
facts rap. I don't really like. Most rappers like to say just a bunch of things that come up to their mind. I try to
I'll
keep
put
like
the
the
link to the
lyrics
video. I'll put the link to the video
as
in
real
the
as
chat
possible.
for those. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you have to do.
And that's it. Because the industry, the Congolese industry, there's a lot of lies. Like I already think like, if you ask me, I don't really think we create stuff in the Congo. My generation, when I was a kid listening to those musicians, all those people that we call legend, when I grew older, I started looking at where they really got the inspiration. I started coming to the realization that they never really created something. I'm gonna give like some instance. There's at some point in the Congo, everybody was wearing the FUBU shirt or wearing army gears. Like Wenge was the one who brought it into Congo. But at the same time, if you look at the Americans, they were also wearing FUBU.
Yep.
So those guys was just like, or take it there and bring it to the Congo and pretend like they
Or
created
they had a cousin in
new style.
Atlanta.
Yeah, and I even see like recently there's artists that'll take a dance like the Stinky Leg from Atlanta and bring it in Kinshasa and say, "Oh, I created a new dance," and he's dancing and people going crazy. And I'm like, dude, this is a dance from Atlanta, you know. And
Well,
I started
listen,
realizing
They took the twerk from Africa as well, and
come on, where
So-
twerk? I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I know, but at least what
Culture
you said
just
earlier
moves on.
about French people. What you said earlier about French people being like the rich people, they be clashing them, whatever. They're not proud. They don't say that they have money. It's the same thing with Congo. Like you said, if somebody today from the Congo came out that we created twerk, I guarantee you Americans gonna be like, yo, the people that created twerk, the Congolese. They're not gonna be like, we created it. But the
Yeah.
Congolese, they never wanna like, let's say the ghostwriters, the people who write songs for people. In America here, we have like a whole award, a BMI award, ASCAP award, you know, where they
For the
really
writers.
big up the writers. But in the Congo, the industry, they're ashamed of letting people know that the song was written from this guy. They steal money from them. They don't want them to say nothing. And when they go on TV, say that, oh, I made a song for such and such, I never got paid. Automatically, they send the soldiers, since they have more money than them, to sabotage the guy. But the guy just want to get shine. Like, you wrote for one person, then let me write for the rest of the industry so I can make money. You know, that's another thing I don't understand about the industry over there. How come they're not proud to put out the person that got inspired? Like, Kaysha, you wrote a song and nobody want to say, oh, Kaysha wrote the song. Shout out to Kaysha. That's not right. Have you ghostwritten before in life? I mean, at all?
wrote for the people?
Yeah.
I have like
That they hide it. That they hide it. They don't tell you.
Oh no.
don't tell the
Everything
people.
that I wrote for the people or composed, like I wrote for a lot of singers. I wrote for like big
You
songs.
can't
like,
drop in the name?
Yeah, Les DS, for example. Like I wrote the whole album, and I composed.
The whole album.
Yeah, I wrote like probably 80% of the songs, and I produced 80% of the songs. Every song that I work on with other artists, I actually either compose, or most of the time, even if I don't take writing credit, there's a lot of time that I also help them here and there. And I was like, nah, it's okay, let's do 50-50. But there's a lot of singers that I've worked with all these years. I wrote the chorus for them, or I did the melody for them. And even today, I have a lot of songs that come out when I just do the melody. Actually, there's a song that just came out this week. I think it came out, this weekend in Portugal. It's the official song for the Portuguese, the Euro, in football, soccer.
Oh, wow.
So for the Euro 2020 that is coming now, the song of the official song of the Portuguese team, Portugal.
Yeah.
I co-wrote that.
That's dope. That's a bag right there.
Oh yeah,
That's a bag.
He's gonna play all the
Ching,
time.
ching.
Oh yeah.
That's when you make that.
Copyright.
That's when you make that ching ching sound, man. Ching ching.
Ching, 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 ching.
But what if I wanted a song? Because I want to get into at least singing a little bit, you know. But I think what you said earlier maybe you able to do that, but me, when I write songs, I still try to like rhyme. Like I try to do the singing thing, but I don't know. I just want to rhyme every freaking words with other ones. But I realize that singing, you don't really need to do that. You don't really need that.
You don't need to, but you can do it.
Because to me, it's like every bar got a rhyme, even with singing.
Like, for example, I wrote a song for a guy called Mika Mendes. And I think the song goes, I wrote this letter for you, and I hope that you will hear it on the radio. And that when it plays on your stereo, you think about the way your heart make me go crazy, and now I'm solo. So I put some rhymes, but because it's singing, I will just I might write it like a rap, but then I will like, then when you hear when the song comes out, it's more like, I wrote this letter for you. Dun, 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 dun. My hope that you hear on the radio. Dun, 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 da, 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 stereo. It depends. But when I rap, then it gets completely in a different way, because sometimes I want to put like 5 rhymes in the same bar, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. Sometimes I might do a whole song when I go like, yeah, everything's gonna finish by O. So I'm like, yo, this is Edward Colo coming to your stereo. Bring the barrier, because I'm here to come to your pueblo. And then I will switch languages when I need. But then
you sound like a New York rapper.
Oh yeah, I grew up on hip hop rap, on New York rap. So that's
New York rap, yeah. I could tell.
Oh yeah, completely.
But I have that problem a lot with me, like trying to write songs, like singing. I'm trying to sing because I realize like rap.
You want to sing? You want to sing in Lingala?
Whatever language that's gonna
rumba.
Work. Nah, Lingala, I'm over Lingala. Lingala, being a celebrity in the Congolese industry is not really all that.
It doesn't pay.
Yeah. It doesn't pay, and the people are so bad-hearted. Like people don't want nobody else to eat. The food on the plate is so small that everybody just guarding the plate. You know, if there was enough food, there is enough food, but
it's the same thing in the Zouk industry.
There's not that much money.
Zouk is on by everything that is smaller markets. Is barrels of crabs.
Yeah,
and everybody's trying to stay the king of the barrel. And when you're in there, everybody's eating each other.
It's a fight.
Like, see, it's a fight of
that's what's happening in the Congolese music. There's a little plate, and whoever that got the plate, we don't even see the plate. Forget the food, even the plate you don't even see. You know what I'm saying? By the time you try to get to the food, like it's out of control. And when you come from the States, and you know we practice over here freedom of speech and all that. So someone like me, I'm very vocal, and when I say things, they don't understand me. Like, why is he talking like that? Because I have a different. When you say mixed culture, you know, you get the benefits from other places, and you use it a place that they don't have that kind of benefits. Now you look like you got 3 heads. People looking at you like, what is he talking about? Like, no, we need to change things around, but they don't get it. I don't know what's up with that. That's why we need people like you to come in and put some hands on there. And help the legend, so-called legend, to move correctly. You can't be a legend on your senior year, still running around with freshmen. Be a senior and just show freshmen how to get around. You don't gotta be a freshman all over again. You said it earlier. I don't want to do what I did in 2007. But we have people that's legend. They're doing the same thing they did in 2007.
Yeah, but they move in a market that is not the same where I move. I move in a market where I have the internet. I have unlimited internet everywhere I go. On my phone, in my house, I got Wi-Fi. I can push my narrative. I don't listen. You know, I refuse interviews. I receive emails.
What's the reason?
I got my own show.
Oh, now I thought like throughout your career you didn't really.
No. I used to do interviews everywhere, but now people listen. Every day I receive messages on Instagram. Oh, you know, I have this channel. yo, you know, we have this show, we talk about this, or I have this podcast, we want to invite you, da da da. And I'm like, bro, well, I have my platform when I talk. Like, I can talk about anything I want on my platform. And
maybe their perspective. Or you could tell them, I'll come to your podcast, but I got to talk about my podcast too. I mean, I think it's not that bad. People still want to see you.
I don't mind. It's just that I'm in this place where I can pick and choose. And sometimes I'm going to look at the numbers and I'm going to be like, if you have 100 followers, I can go there just to give you a hand. But yeah, if somebody tells me I have 4 million followers or 400,000 followers, we have this show, we'd love to have you. I know it's going to be good for not only this show because I can bring some people, etc. Like, or even a live show that will bring some new listeners. It makes sense.
Are you like a? Now finish your thought. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot of places where it's not that I don't want to, but with the limited time I have, I cannot spend 1 or 2 hours on somebody's Instagram live when they have no followers. Like,
so you say you're an advocate of underdogs. Would you say that?
I am, but at the same time, you also have to be a realist about the time that you are spending. So I'd rather take the underdog and bring them to my platform and give them the shine that they need for them to be supercharged, rather than go to theirs and nothing happens there.
Maybe they an idea that you're probably gonna bring all your following to them, to their platform. So some of them, they probably get 30% of it.
Yeah, that's what they call you. That's what they call you. But then, I mean, at a point you have to choose, because it's not like you receive one message every month. You receive one a day. You get invited everywhere all the time to talk about stuff. And listen, sometimes you go to those big radio stations and the people are not prepared.
Wow.
The interview, sometimes I go to interviews, I know that I'm going to take over the interview myself. They're going to ask me a question, but I'm going to reply something else, because I can see that they're just reading your Wikipedia page,
really have,
and they
just want you to be there.
They didn't do their homework. They're not really asking you interesting questions. They're not having an interesting conversation with you. They're just like, yo, so when you arrived in Paris at 8 years old, so how did it feel? And you just like cold.
Some questions anybody can ask, really.
Yeah. And when some others will have, like, I remember going to an interview, and she was like, oh, my interviews usually last like an hour or two, but don't worry, we're only going to do an hour. And I was like, what kind of interview is that? And she was like, it's an interview where we take one letter, and for every letter, I'm going to give you a word, and we're going to have a little bit of conversation, 5 minutes on that word. And we should do A to Z in 45 minutes. And she usually receives like 3 people in the same day, and she does the interview 3 times. But we had to do my interview, record it and cut it into 3 times, because we only arrived to the letter I.
Wow.
Because for we start with the letter A, she was like amour, and we spent like 30 minutes talking about love.
Oh,
and then
so
she was like,
you were doing the alphabet.
And then she was like, you are one of the most interesting person I talk to, and you should have your own show on the radio, because you articulate and you know how to explain your thought, like not in 2 words like some people. You can take the time to really explain what you mean, and it was an amazing conversation, and those are the kind of conversations I want to have. And you want to have them with people that you go to their show, it's super interesting, or you want to talk politics maybe in some shows, or like I remember an interview that I did in Kinshasa where everybody was trying to attack me and I was like, they start like, yo, are you really Congolese? I was like, well, yeah, I mean, that's what my passport say, but you know,
I mean, we do
yeah.
have some kind of like, you know, issues with identities and stuff. So
Yeah, but I
I
was
think it's a valid question.
I mean, I don't know. I have no problem responding to the
Rumor
question.
has it Kaysha Zala one day.
So, um, I'm answering all the questions. So I'm like, they're like, yeah. So if you're Congolese, why don't you speak Lingala? And my answer was simple. I'm way more fluent in French and English and Portuguese than Lingala because
Lingala.
I left early and I grew up around white people soon as I arrived in France, and nobody was speaking Lingala around me. So
It's gone.
I'm not gonna speak a language that I'm gonna speak bad. So I rather speak a language where I'm comfortable. And like all the questions were like that. And it was like an interview. I don't remember what channel it was, but it was me and there was like 20 journalists.
So they try your authenticity.
Yeah, they were trying to ask you that. And me, listen, I'm trained. I'm trained.
Media trained.
Like, listen, I love when the questions become interesting or they try to trick you in like, or they say, yo, you know, we're gonna ask you a hard question. I'm like, please, like entertain me a bit.
Please do.
So I was just answering everything like a real politician. And yeah, listen, and especially like, yeah, but you know, you guys are here out there making it happen. What do you do for us here in Kinshasa? And I was like, well, first of all, I don't live here and I'm trying to survive out there. So
trying to survive.
And my question was, but what you guys are you doing for yourself? Because I don't think it's healthy to ask for everybody who live outside what they do for you, and what
you don't do nothing for yourself.
Politique de la main tendue. What are you doing for yourselves? Who's building a place to perform? Who's reforming places for people to have copyrights? Who's building a studio? Yeah, but you guys should bring your studios here. Say, no, we don't live here. We live out there. This is where our lives are. This is where our kids are. This is our. If I move here, maybe that's when but I prefer building plantations, orphanages, bringing food and clothes to people who need it, and support the people who are doing something on the field, rather than build a studio for singers. When there should be people, or ask all your legends who are here why they don't build studios for the kids. Like, and all my like, listen, I have answers for everybody. They can ask me anything, I will have an answer. So
the legends can't build. Now go ahead.
At the end of the interview, they all come, it was amazing, vraiment, Kaysha, non, c'est vraiment piranga, est-ce qu'on peut avoir un peu d'argent pour le taxi? I was like, what the fuck?
Non. Mais ça c'est clair.
So,
c'est la fin de toute conversation.
Oh, bro, come on, like, that's this thing where there's a limit to at a point. It's something that always bothered me with when I go to Africa, is when I have people who, instead of asking me, how do you do it? Can I have the blueprint? Their question is, can you help me? I'd love for you to ask me, can you explain to me how you make money? I will sit down and explain to you how to generate money, even from where you are, and how to record yourself, how to make a studio from home, all these things. And I will tell you, listen, you need $1,000. I would even tell you, what is your budget? Tell me what is your budget, and I will give you exactly everything you can buy with your budget. You only have 200, let's go.
But then again, their perspective is a little different, because all they know as far as music is they go join a group, and the top musician in that group does everything for them. And that's another reason why these artists, that, let's say for instance, I'll just single out Kofi. He probably had 30 artists in his own all career, and he only got one person that probably did good, because everybody else never knew how to go to the radio station on anything, find himself a studio, because Kofi always made sure all that stuff is there. So when they come up to you, I think it's only right for them to have that kind of approach, because that's all they see.
I understand.
That was my point. I was like, you need it. That's what I was saying. You're very important. That's what they expect something from you. And then again, you like, why you expect something from me? Why aren't you doing anything for yourself?
I'm not saying don't expect something from me. I'm saying you're expecting the wrong thing from me.
The wrong thing?
I'm not here to build you a house. I'm here to teach you how you build your house. But then it's up to you to take your muscle and put the bricks yourself. So then you can teach your kids how they build their own houses. And that's how look, my mother bought 100 hectares of land. And then all the drivers that have been working for us since I was a kid, she gave all of them 2 hectares, all of them.
That's dope.
Two, and all of them. One is doing pondu, one is doing artemisia, one is doing coffees, trying to sell to Starbucks. Like, all of a sudden, they are not dreaming of generational change for their condition of their whole family, because now they have land. And my mother gave them land. They didn't say, oh, here's my land and I'm giving you a little bit of land on my land. My mom said, here's your property documents. You own this land. I bought it for you. And now it's yours. You can build a house in here. You can do whatever you want. And listen, like, I was emotional because my driver that used to drive me to school when I was 14, 16, he's now 60 something, or maybe he's 70 already. I'm not sure, because he keeps looking so young. But he was showing me, he was taking me to the lands. Right? He was like, oh, this is to your sister, this is to that, and this is yours, because my mother is taking care of my own thing since I'm not there. And he was showing me, like, yeah, this is your crops. Those are your corn. And I was proud. And I was showing my daughter. It was like, yo, this is yours. And it was making me think of the future. It was generating new dreams for me. But then what made me emotional was when he told me, and this is mine. I was like, yo, take me to yours. You know? And he take me to his, and he was showing me his crop of pondu. And he was like, yeah, you know, like, Werason has like a bunch of, lots of them out there, but this is my land. Like, I own land. Like, and that's what is beautiful for me, is we have those people who they worked for us their whole life. He probably arrived to work with
they got a
parents
reward.
when he was probably 16. And today he's the owner of his own land. And this will change. That's generational wealth.
Yeah, definitely.
It changes, and that to me is what I would prefer artists to tell me. Bro, teach me how I can get my land. Teach me how I got 1,000 euros here. That's all my saving. Teach me how to turn them into 10,000. Instead of coming and telling me, yeah, so what are you doing for us? Nigga, I'm surviving. Like, I'm thinking about my children.
There's something you said when you was talking about the neighbors in the neighborhood where the acres was bought. You said where on son had, like, you know. So that's my other issue, to go back to kind of what we were saying earlier. So these people do have growth, but they just choose not to advertise their growth, pretty much. Like, if he got lands and he growing things, how come they're not showing it to the public so they can influence other people as well, so they won't have that thought process of yours? of
To
the,
their defense, let me just look at some comments because I see that the chat is the song and music Moponami. I've subscribed to his channel and I follow him on IG. I'm a fan.
Good looks.
New
Julie.
fan. Not only they go join a group, they're expecting a big producer who will give them an advance.
Forget about advance in Africa. In the Congo, you can forget about that. I almost got signed by a label with no advance. They wanted me to leave America, go live in the Congo. So forget about everything I have here going on and just take my life. And he's like, oh, don't worry, we're going to take care of you. I'm like, you dudes are the worst.
With us.
Yeah, they said sign with us. Ain't gonna be no producer dancing in the video. None of that stuff, you know.
So to answer your question about those who are building stuff, you have to understand where they come from.
True.
You see what I mean? I come from, my father is them. I am not them. My father came from nothing.
That's keys.
My father came from nothing, and when he arrived to the top of the game of politics in Congo, his only obsession was, what can I do for my country? But over that was, I don't want my kids to walk barefoot like I used to walk barefoot. So he sent us to the best schools so we could have the knowledge and to have brains that function in a different way, because in their era they got bombarded with money that they didn't know what to do with. So all they did was buy land, buy houses and buy buildings, but they were not business savvy. They just had money, so they were doing something with it. Actually, my mom, who was raised in Belgium, when she got married to my dad and she saw all that money, she was like, okay, let's invest.
It seems like it's the story of a lot of like elders from then. Like the women were really on point when it comes to that.
Yeah, because most of those women, they were women that that would come from university in Belgium or France or whatever, and then when they would take them, they would be like, "Yo, what you doing with all this money? Like, why don't you buy a building? Why don't you do this? Why don't we do this?" Like my mom built two clubs. She built a Sika, and then she built Reflex.
I remember a Sika. I used to go over there to swim.
So the whole block belongs to my dad. Rond-Point Forestcom. This whole thing belongs to my dad. But you see, all these things were, for them, it's new. So if you take all these artists, Kofi, Werasan, all these guys, the wealth that they have now, it's only now that they start thinking, okay, they bought houses, they probably have buildings, hotels, etc. But and now they buy land because they are starting to understand the game late. But when they were 20, 30, 40, they were just getting money and spending it. Just like when 50 Cent was talking about being new money. When you are new to money, you don't know what to do with money. It burns your hands. And
how long that's gonna last either. You don't know.
So when you get that money, you want to impress the other poor people. And you want to show that you have champagne, and you want to show the rich people that you are like them now, but you don't have their money. So when you're gonna spend 10,000 to impress them, they can spend 10,000 every party. You can spend 10,000 once, and then you pour again, and you have to work like crazy or do a lot of mabanga to get the next 10,000. So you don't have that mindset. Whereas me, who was born second generation into money, when I get famous, My dream is not to show people that don't like me that I'm good. I don't care what they think. When people are telling me, oh, you think you are from the West Indies, or oh, why don't you say that you're Congolese, or oh, wait a minute, you're not from here, or why don't you? I don't care about all these noise. I have a vision and I know what to do because my brain has been trained from the schools where I've been to, from the university where I learned business. And so I know that when you have money, you have to invest it. You have to do this, you have to do that. And so I don't function the same way as most of these people. And you see, I'm not talking about the land that I bought. I'm talking about the land that my mom has bought. But I know in the future, everything that we can do as a family with that land, because I'm thinking about building cities. When people are thinking about having Pondu in there, I'm talking to people who have Congolese people who are in Los Angeles and who have the door to like thousands of stores who are ready to buy agriculture from Africa. They are ready to buy it, but they need us to do it in the norms, etc., etc. But those people, they just in the, oh, we have land, let's put some pondu in it. Me, no. I would be like, build stuff, condition it, put it to whatever, receive orders, send by boat, send to China, send to this, send to that, generate millions with that. Us, we are still in the, the generation before us, they're still in the, oh, let's buy let's put some pondu and let's go to the market and sell the pondu. And listen, it's amazing to know that you are feeding your brothers and sisters. It's amazing.
It could be
it's
a start. It could be a start
but
to.
You see what I mean? It's a
great.
start. But for me, the way my mind thinks, I'm like, that's just step one out of 1,000 steps. And it really, and I believe that all these legends have kids. And those kids that went to good schools in Europe or in South Africa, they will come with the same mindset that I have, because they are second generation wealthy. And I'm sure that my daughter, who's going to be third generation, will have a head start first, but then she will think even differently, because she's gonna arrive in a world where she will have crypto, she will have this, she will have stock options, she will have probably one up, she will have apartments, she will have, you see what I mean? And she will have a catalog of maybe by that time 1,000 of songs that will generate wealth. And she will not be, because my problem with a lot of people is they get rich, and when they die, the kids go back to zero. Or maybe they have like 1 or 2 houses, and then you have the whole family, everybody starting to fight to try to know who's going to live in there, who's going to get what part of whatever, and it's a mess.
Super mess, yeah.
But if you look at French or American rich families, it's built on generations. The people who usually is the great grandfather who started the movement, and now it becomes a whole consortium of every kid that is pushing the thing forward, and then these billions that we're talking about.
Based on what you said, as far as like the generations, I mean, it's totally right, because the Americans, as you said, they may be on the, I don't know, 50th generation since they built, I don't know, the banking system or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so of course they would think like that. Us here, we're still in the beginning. I mean, I understand that, you know, you're playing the devil's advocate as far as those guys, but I still feel like those guys, the accomplishments that they have, they can still speak about it. I mean, they could just say something that, hey, I'm doing agriculture. That might help somebody somewhere that's sitting around contemplating if they should do agriculture. Nah, I like your music. I see you do agriculture. I wanted to do agriculture. Now I'm doing it because my favorite artist said so. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who ask them when they do an interview?
That's another thing.
People are asking you because all the journalists are not real journalists. So they're gonna ask you stupid questions about your beef with Ferré or with Fabregas or whatever, instead of asking you, I see that you're building land. I see that you bought 4 cars for a hospital. Can you talk to us about it?
I see that's the thing.
I see that I heard that you built a house for women who are refugees from war. Like, can you talk about it? Why? How? Like, and give the space to the gossip. You're gonna give 10 minutes to the gossip and 50 minutes to the important things. But what happened is that they're gonna give the whole hour to the gossip.
Yeah, it's journalism issue. Yeah, you're totally right.
So listen, nobody ever asked me in how many places with orphans I've been. Nobody asked me that. Nobody.
Have you ever gotten like question about politics, about growing up in a political home?
Yeah,
like you got those questions.
Yeah, but they are never like good questions. They're
just they didn't formulate it good
it's
enough.
Easy for you to sing because you grew up rich. I'm like, you don't buy talent.
I gotta do anything.
But they don't ask you the real questions, like how does it feel and how like.
A lot of them are afraid. They're also afraid maybe to, they idolize those people so much that they don't even want to get into that. They're afraid maybe they're gonna touch a subject that is very not welcome to the person,
Yeah, but sometimes it's people that are not from that country.
I'm
going to be in the West Indies. Like, I remember going to Guadeloupe. No, it was in Martinique. And I arrived in the interview when the person, he never spoke to me in French. And he assumed that I knew how to speak Creole.
Oh, snap.
And so I understand everything he says because I understand Creole from the West Indies. But his question is, so what do you think we should do for our islands to be independent from the colonists? We don't want to be French colonies anymore. Like, I was in the independentist radio, and he didn't care about my music, my new album, my promo. He had no cure about all that. He didn't care. And yeah, you have to handle. You have to know what to say. You have to be able to. Yeah, you have to navigate in those places. So I believe that our problem as artists and as a culture, the Congolese culture, is that we don't have journalists. We have YouTube channels.
I mean, at some point we did, though, right? At some point we had some people that had quality.
Yeah, and then they all got thrown in jail because they were asking too many questions.
See, that's another reason why those guys cannot be. There's no freedom of speech even on the lower level.
But today, I remember doing an interview with a girl, and like I thought she was about to rape me on TV. She was like, "Yeah, so what do you think about me? Do you think do you like my boobly belly?" I was like, "What the hell?" And so it's this thing where it's not just about it's not just about the musicians. It's the whole culture. When you have a culture that is, when the whole culture is, like, come on, like the pastor, the this, the that. I guess like, you end up not being able as a culture as a whole to elevate, and then you look at it from the eyes of even if you arrive at 16, so you really are a Congolese kid, but now you are an American man.
And
when you look at things, you look at it from the point of view of what a Will Smith has done, what a 50 Cent who came from the gutter and now he's a billionaire, like the Jay-Z's, those people. You look at that and you look at Kofi, Wera, and all these people, and you're like, yo, you guys should be like those guys. But those guys, they are in a culture where you also have advocates for that. You have people who taught them to be that. The
and that's the first generation too.
But the lawyers that they have around them are all these people who are not from their culture, but who are teaching them how to, you know, they knew how to, and they are in a country. They are in a country where it's the culture, where we are in countries where it's not the culture, because we still are in a country where it's the first time that we had an election that went, I would say, smoothly, without violence. You know?
But then again, don't forget, like, there's also people here that's the information is there, but there's ignorant people that choose not to know shit. So in my point, I think those people, they also the same way. The information was there. There's people in the Congo that's well informed, whether they're first generation or not. I just think those people just don't care about learning. I see the interviews. I never watched the interview of a lot of them and hear something really meaningful that come out of them. I mean, they're grown men, they have experience. When they were in their 30s and 20s, I understand they're young, they enjoy it. But once you start getting to the 50s and all that, now you're supposed to have wisdom, and you done created stuff. Like, your conversation gotta change at some point.
It depends who you are around.
That too. I mean, yeah, listen, that's another issue too.
It depends who you are around. If you are around people who, listen, I had this friend from America called Peter. And we had a conversation, and he told me, okay, your real problem in life is that you have conversations all the time with people who are not on your level. So you are trying to lift them to your level, but they will only achieve 20% of your level. You need to sit down with the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Sunday Pichard. You need to sit down with people who are over you. You need to sit down with the Jay-Z's, the Diddy's, you need to sit down with that level of people so that your brain can be useful. Because what you're doing right now is just wasting your time having conversations with people who only do 10% of what you tell them to do. And then you get frustrated because you're like, yo, look at all these people, look at that, and look at what they do. But maybe it's because you are having conversation with the wrong people. And I remember spending hours and hours and hours and hours talking with Congolese artists, Senegalese artists, West Indian artists, even rappers. And I was telling them, listen, independence, this, that, blah, 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 blah. When you sell 100,000 albums, I make the same money as you selling 10,000. And they would not understand. They would not understand. They were like, it doesn't make sense. But look, I'm gold. I was like, yeah, you gold, but how much money do you make? They give you a plaque and you're happy. I own my masters. You see what I mean? And those are those different moments where.
Oh man, my speaker died.
Oh, it's good now.
Oh man, jeez.
I hear you. You want to call back?
Huh?
He's gonna call back. Yeah, so I was saying, it's a whole system that needs to be built to revolutionize the music industry in the DR Congo. Joel, it's not even just revolutionizing it. It's even, you have to create everything from the get-go because there's no system. There's no industry. There's just singers. And that's it. You got singers and you got fans. and maybe you have promoters in the middle. You see what I mean? And what you need in those moments, are to have an industry, a real industry in Congo. You need to have what an industry is. What people, when you say it's a system that need to be built to change the industry. An industry.
If I was to say we need white people, what would you say for industry?
You what?
We need white people for an industry. There's no industry in the world of blacks where there's no white people. Everything is owned by the Asian and the Caucasian. Even the Nigerian industry, they're all over there. Sony Music, Universal, even the Jamaican industry is still Caucasian. So there's no. How can we?
I don't believe that you need specifically an ethnic or a race of people to make an industry. You just need to look. In China, they have their own industry, or in Korea they have their own industry, and it's just Koreans running.
Sony comes from them. They already been in the game. They got Sony.
But you see, I believe that what you need to do is understand every part of the game. The problem of our industries, or our let's call them industries, is that you only have people who are obsessed with just being an artist, or just making money from the artist by creating places where they can perform. You don't have professional managers. You don't have professional you don't have professional
Tell
media.
me about it.
You don't have professional radio. And then when there's radio, you don't have a company that collects the copyrights. Collects the copyright every time your song plays on the radio, every time your song plays in the club. Like all these things, they exist. The systems exist. The systems are already in place, and the people who are part of those systems, they can give you the blueprint of how you build it. But for that, you need to not, when there's millions of dollars that come in, you need to have somebody who don't put them in their pockets. And putting things in our pockets when this is in our culture. So you have to find a way to make sure that, and that's when new technologies like blockchain can help, where nobody can take that money from you. It arrives directly in your account. Because the problem here is, every time in our countries, every time there's a middleman, every middleman wants to take their cut. And their cut is not 5% like the rest of the world. Their cut is 95%. And so, but then you really need to have this thing where the people on the ground are willing to really create the whole circuit, not just the places where you perform and the performers. You need managers, and you need listen, you know something I learned in, like, when I was in the Zouk industry, for example. There's a lot of cash, and one day we tell the dancers, listen, you get 200 per show, 200 euros per show. It would be great for your future if we declared you, because we receive cash, so you can put 200 in your pocket. That's great, and then you're gonna spend it, and then you're gonna need the next 200, and you're gonna wait till the next show. But if we declare you, every time you do a show, you have hours that you can go to ACEDIC, which is the French Social Security, and then you get hours. And when you reach a certain number of hours, when you say that, for example, it's the summer and you're done working, they will count how much money you made from your shows, and they will give you that money now every month when you don't work. So for 6 months, if you say I don't have work, let's say you made 1,000 per month, they will give you 1,000 per month based on your cotization of the money you make. And I was like, and when you get older, when you reach 60 years old or 64 and you retire, the sum of all the money you made will count towards how much the state will give you every month when you retire. So my dancers were like, that's amazing. Wow. So we get paid when we don't work. I was like, yeah. So we like, my manager was like, so do you want to do it? And they were like, yeah, that's amazing. So next show, they arrive, end of the show, they're like, what about our money? My manager
you give that
them,
up.
My manager hands them checks. And it's a check of 160. And they're like, wait a minute, where's my 200? And we tell them 200 minus Social Security, taxes, TVA, whatever, that's 160. Because you are now paying for your retirement, and you are paying for this, and now you are part of the system and you exist for the states, and you also have to pay taxes on the money you get. And after one show, they're like, no, we don't want that shit. We don't want that shit. No, I want 200. But that's the problem, because when the pandemic hits, those who exist in the system receive help from the government. They receive, during the pandemic, I didn't need money. I actually was making more money because I was not spending money, and because I was making money from my catalog, since I own everything. But I was receiving messages from the copyright, the SPA. So the SPA is a Sociedade de Produtores e Autores in Portuguese. And they asked me, they say, hey, listen, last year you made €30,000 worth of copyright money, more or less. Since we're in pandemic, we can give you, in the estimate of what you're going to do next year, we can give you an advance of 15,000 now if you want. Since you're an artist, you're not performing, you are in the system. And I was like, no, I'm fine, thank you. Just keep my money, I'll ask it when I need it. Then you had the GDA, which is the rights of producers. When you create your own tracks, so in the US it's Sound Exchange. When you create your own tracks and you are your own producer, you also receive royalties as a producer, and that money goes in Sound Exchange. So here it's called GDA, and they would send me every month a credit card with €300 in it for groceries. They were like, hey, that's the least we can do for artists. We have a fund for artists, and every artist receive a card. And then every places that I'm part of was sending me money. And all the artists were asking me, what you mean you have a card with, where you get all that money? I was like, they sent it to me. And they were like, yeah, but how can I receive it? And I was like, do you get paid cash? Yes. Do you pay taxes? No. So they don't know you exist.
Facts.
And this is the difference. And that's what I call the difference in mind frame. If you don't have the mind frame to understand not just your part of the game, which is singing, but everything else, And if it doesn't exist in your country, it's even worse. But when it exists, some people, they don't want to be part of it because it means paying taxes. Listen, in France, I probably paid more than 200,000 euros just of taxes. It hurts.
Facts.
But in
It's part of the game, man.
not only is part of the game, but then I receive money when I'm supposed to receive money. And when I retire and I can ask money from France, I can ask money from Portugal because I pay taxes here. And yeah, listen, when you have to pay, you hate it. Because damn, that's the only money that's left. They want it. But it's up to you to handle everything. And for example, listen, I pay social security, but I also pay private insurance for wife and kid and me. Well, listen, when my kid was sick, the bill of the hospital was 7,000. And it's 7,000 that you didn't think, like, you know, imprévu. But because I pay every month the price for that insurance, I only had to pay 500 from the 7,000. And that's when you're like, whoa. But I have that mind frame. I understand how to navigate in the game. A lot of people don't. A lot of people, all they know, look, for example, Kofi, where are all these guys? Back in the 20 years ago, all they wanted was a guy like Anani, who was a big producer of for that generation. They would give them 100,000 for them to record the album. Plus, you would have everybody that would come with their money to have their names in the songs, right? The Mabanga. And all of them, that's enough. You see what I mean? You have, let's say you made 100,000 for the album, plus 50,000 or 100,000 of Mabangas. Of, hey, I want my name here, or I want my name in that song, or I want my name in whatever. And people give you their cars, their whatever, their savings, and you're happy because you have your album. You made 150K, and yeah, you go until you don't have any more money. When you don't have any more money, you come back for more and you do a new album. And those guys have 60 albums and they own nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, that's crazy.
If they came from a different point of view and they learned about the game of that industry, they would realize that the person who's giving you 100K for your album just needs to sell 10,000 albums to make their money back. And you have millions of fans. So you could sell yourself 100,000 albums and make $1 million, plus the money from all the people who want their names. And you can turn all this into a business. You can have a website for people who want to put their names and they pay directly by PayPal, etc. You can create all that. And then when you are in your 60s, you don't need to perform because you have 60 albums that would probably generate 20K, 25, 30K a month just from streaming.
You indirectly responded to my question. That was why they're still performing when they're 60, 70. You just responded by saying that they don't own nothing. You know, they have to keep going.
It depends.
Which is
it really depends. I don't know the
contracts,
the funds. Most of them, there's no contract, but I don't know how much money each person has. Some people, maybe they build hotels, maybe they build stores, maybe they have
they have
sources
some stuff.
You know, maybe they have other sources of revenue, but what I mean is that it's not just them.
Talking, yeah.
But I know some artists. I know some artists from in the Zouk business that they older now and they don't own their music. They don't own their music. So, they don't get nothing from their old songs. You understand that? Me, Kaysha on the Kwa still makes money today.
You probably like the only artist that did that. Even in the US, around that time, people didn't own their music. All the Jay-Z's and all those guys, they just bought their rights back. So I think it was an era of like lack of power and knowledge. A lot of them was first generation, not even first generation. They were just first generation of getting knowledge and money. So I guess that's why they all got played. Because the young kids, especially here in the US, those young kids that's 16, 17, all the way to, I don't know, 25, they're making way more money than all the superstars that we respect ever made in their lives, off of like maybe one song that only lasted 6 months. And they made more money than someone that had a 15, 20 years career.
But there's a big difference between today and yesterday. Today you can go to DistroKid and you upload your music, facts. And you can shoot your video with 500. And look, this camera that I'm using, a lot of people use it to shoot. It's a Sony camera. A lot of people use it to shoot videos. I have music video quality, right? And it costs $1,000. So today you can have anybody with $1,000 come and they shoot you a video for 500 that will have the quality of what we used to pay. Like the music video for On the Kwa cost $15,000. No, $20,000.
Yeah, that's definitely when Diddy was spending $150 for a video. That's that era. You had to spend that kind of money.
Today I can shoot the same video as On the Kwa, the same one, exactly the same video with $2,000. $2,000. Because the cameras, like back in the days, we had to buy the film, the roll of film of 3 minutes, pellicule, the 3 minutes. Every one cost like 300 francs. So that's like $60. So to shoot a music video, first of all, maybe you need 20 of them. So that's already like $1,000 and something just for the film. And then you have to be careful of what you're gonna like. Look, today there's like this small shit has 60, like you can have 200 gigabytes in this. Yeah. But back in the days, now, and like studio time costs money. I can record with this microphone. I can record a song. So, and then once you do everything at home, it costs you nothing to make, and you can buy beats anywhere. It's easy.
YouTube, you could download.
You can download a beat on YouTube, and then you contact the person, and then you take that master that you own, and you upload it to a platform, and the platform does everything for you. It puts it in all the stores for you. Whereas the Jay-Z's, the Kofis, like, and even I in back in the days, we needed to record in studios and then do a master, and then things had to go to a factory to print the CDs, and then you would need to have a network of distribution that only the majors had to be able to be in the shelves. Because you would not arrive to Virgin Megastore or Fnac and say, yeah, here's my CD, can you sell it? No, you needed to be part of a distribution. And the distribution, if you just distribution, they would only give you 28%. And if they sign you, they would only give you 6% of the revenue, because they pay everything. So those people, they understood, and those who made millions, they bought back their catalog. But a lot of people, not only they don't have the knowledge, but they don't even have the funds, because whenever they had a little bit of money, it wasn't advanced. They didn't even realize it wasn't advanced because they don't read their contract. So they get $1 million, they buy a lot of shit, and now they don't understand that, I sold 100,000 copies. How come I don't have $1 million? I generated $1 million. Where's my $1 million? They're like, well, you're paying for your advance. And
I don't think people don't be knowing.
Yeah. So there's there's a lot of ways to arrive to this. And the independents today, listen, if you have a hit and it's a hit because of TikTok, and you make, I don't know, 100 million streams, you get 300,000.
But that's mostly for like the people that have like the internet easy. In the Congo, from what I see, people still glorifying labels. Like the older artists are telling the younger artists they should go sign. Like for instance, one of the biggest artists in the Congo right now, they pretty much sign. I think Fali signed. You know what I'm saying? All these guys are signed. I think he's losing money. I'll say Fair is making maybe way more money than him yearly, but he's more popular. He's getting the looks, but the money, like you're saying, 10,000 albums, he makes whatever you got going on over there.
Again, it depends what is your game plan. Some people rather sign and make money from shows because of the exposure that they give you from all the videos.
Well, what if you have a 360? What if you have a deal that, you know, they also get into your shows and make the money off you? Which I think a lot of those guys will get that kind of deal. You know, that where the label
even in
step
the US.
into the show. Yeah, in the US, yeah. Even when you sell merch, like you sell shada wear, they gotta come in and pick up some bags. That's what I was saying is very important for those older guys to start telling the young kids. Maybe because they're mad because they didn't get the opportunity to use the internet. But they should be trying to tell this kid. Yeah, that's another point too.
Not only maybe they don't know, or maybe they believe that signing is great because maybe for them that's the goal, you know.
And journalism, what you said is so true because I never seen a journalist or anybody ask Kofi, for instance, so who you signed to? You know what I'm saying? Who's your record label? It's never been asked. The Congolese people don't know who signed who.
And even just knowledge about how it works. How it works, how much do you get paid, how you make money, all these, like, people don't know. People learn while they're in. And most of the time you learn after signing your 5-year contract. So you spend 5 years frustrated, and then it's only when you're out of your contract that you're like, okay, I want to do it by myself now. But then maybe you didn't learn how to, and some people are lazy. Some people don't want to stay at night working on Instagram and whatever when you can have a team doing it. So it really depends. Like you have an artist in the US called Russ.
Oh,
Russ
big,
was explaining.
He's a big independent guy.
He's independent, and he was explaining how he's been making all these records, and when he blew up, he had 10 albums behind him. So when he blew up, all of a sudden he was making multi-million streams, generating hundreds of thousands monthly of income. Plus, when he was doing shows, big shows in festivals, he was getting 100%. And instead of signing to a label, he preferred building his own team that worked for him. But that's a lot of people will be, you know, let me just sign somewhere and
we need that kind of change. Especially in the Congo, I have a hard time understanding how we have 10 million people in Kinshasa alone, and the musicians are struggling to sell even 50,000 CDs. I really don't get that.
But sell where?
Whatever they want to.
There's no stores.
Okay, let's say diaspora in America here. I don't know exactly the number we are, but in Massachusetts already, I hear this, like in the east side of America, there's already 250,000 Congolese. So if those people could get the records for wherever you're gonna do, you go to Fnac or whatever in Europe over there, or you find the store here, you find the deal here.
People stream now.
True. I get that, but I'm talking about streaming only became very popular maybe the last 5-6 years. Prior to that, it wasn't really that popular. People were still buying. So I could even say 10 years ago, they were
distribution is. You know, I had these conversations with my production back in the days. I was like, why is my album not in Atlanta? There's a lot of Congolese people. Why is my album not in Rotterdam? I don't need to go far. Rotterdam is 2 hours away from Paris. Why my album is not there? And people would tell me, we only know 2 stores that sell this kind of music, and they owe us money, so we're not sending them nothing.
Wow.
Because they're crooks.
And those are Congolese stores?
No, it was stores from
Just regular stores.
Yeah, record stores, and so like the distribution network is important. And if you are a big record company and you build a 10,000, you print 10,000 CDs, how you gonna be there and know exactly where to send the albums if, let's say, I put 100 albums in Massachusetts in the stores and nobody buys them because, or in Kinshasa, people sell music on USB thumb drive for $5 and get 1,000 songs. There you go. One day I went to Cameroon and somebody was telling me, "Yeah, Kaysha, I have all your music. I'm selling your music." And I was like, "Oh, where you got my albums?" And he had a CD-ROM with my back then 6 albums, all 6 albums in MP3s with a fake cover and everything. Oh. What are you supposed to do at that moment?
Piraterie.
Yeah, listen, I got popular because of piraterie.
That's the same piracy, thing. 50 Cent did the same thing from what I heard. Like,
listen,
he even started giving them the bootlegs.
On the Quoi is one of the biggest song ever in Africa of the 2000 era, and I never sold a CD out there. So everybody was watching the video on TV, and everybody had a copy in their computers and on thumb drives or MP3s or whatever. And the way I made money was by going and do shows. Right. But if I made money from the sales, I'll be multimillionaire right now. But all of these people, they all know the song, but none of them had my CD in their hand. They all had a copy, and when somebody has the original album, they make 1,000 copies. They're gonna take all the time in the world to create copies to give to their friends. Yo, give me those. Oh, hey, you come back from Europe. Hey, tu n'as pas les dernières chansons? Envoie-moi les dernières chansons. Yeah, they make you a thumb drive. Yeah, give me your thing. And that's the thing with technology. So
even in the Congo, that's what is being done. They do it through WhatsApp. Like you go, you're a part of a group. There's, I don't know, however many people on there, and there's a new song. Everybody just gets it for free, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like and now
somebody says Sokoda over there.
Yeah, Sokoda isn't able to stop them.
Sokoda is a joke, man. Sokoda, it's like the ASCAP or whatever.
Yeah, it's like SACEM. But that's the thing.
SACEM, yeah.
Is this thing where you are in those industry where the industry doesn't really exist. You cannot ask questions that are relevant to the US, for example, because it doesn't really function the same way, and there's a lot of moving parts that are missing. And for the artists, they just like, listen, I've seen a lot of artists even in the Zouk industry where they still have access to SACEM or ASCAP. They have access to Adami, Maison des Artistes. They have access to a lot of. They even have places that can give them money where they need to create. All they need is to fill a form, and all they want to do is go to Martinique, Guadeloupe, Guyane and perform in the summer, and in the winter they want to perform around France. That's all they want to do. And for that, they are willing to give everything, every right to whoever is gonna pay them a music video.
Wow.
And you tell them, you can buy a camera for 1,000, and you can buy a microphone for 500, and you already have a computer and you're good to go. And they're like, no, I don't wanna. You know that if you own your thing, you will make da. And they were like, what? 1 million streams to get 3,000 only? Hell no.
That's bad. That's very bad.
And they will be like, no, I'd rather go do a show every 5-4 days at 500. I will make my money faster. But then the moment that the popularity ends,
money gone.
Yeah, you need to go find a job and completely abandon your passion, where you build your name and you build all these assets, all these musical songs, all these years, and then when you retire, they don't generate money for you because you don't own nothing, because you didn't sometimes you didn't even protect them. You don't realize that when they play on radio, you make money, because nobody's teaching you that. What everybody's teaching you is, you the best, you a star, here's some pussy for you, go ahead, eat it.
Especially in the Congolese industry. Star,
Everywhere.
star. They gas you up to the max.
It's not just Congolese industry. Everywhere, you have people, that's their job, make you feel like you are Michael Jackson, but not make you learn. You know, the first thing my manager told me when after a show, I was like, oh, this girl is nice. Let's, with my dancer, I'm like, yo, let's go, let's go dance with the. And she was like, after the show, everybody stays backstage. We do the photos. When we're done with the photos, we take a drink with the owner, and then we go back to the hotel. That's it.
Wow. That's easy to say.
And we were like, yo, why? And she was like, because you have to be professional. You cannot just then mingle with the public. Like, they came to see you. They have to keep seeing you on that level. If they see you dancing with the girls after that, like, you kill that energy. And in the beginning, we didn't understand why, and that the dancers were pissed. But the more time went by, the more it became a discipline, and we learned how to react. And then you would hear people talk. They would be like, oh, you know, why would I buy the album of this guy when I meet him in KFC? You know, because that's how people think. They love you, but at the same time they kind of hate you, and they kind of jealous of your success, and at the same time they admire it, and at the same time they want to put you down, and at the same time they want to put you up. That's humans. They have these feelings that are contradictory, and you have to protect yourself from all that, and you have to understand the business you're in and how it works and how you have to move in it. But if nobody ever taught you, and that you grew up with, you know, politician who had a lot of money that just gave you money to say their names. For you, this is, that's how you make money, and you know nothing else. And you don't realize that, there's some guys out there that are that have been generating millions on your name,
millions
from all these songs that you did, and you could just chill at this time. And you would.
That was the thing on YouTube when YouTube started first getting nodded. A lot of the Congolese artists wouldn't even know that the song on YouTube, somebody was posting them and making money off of them. Until later, maybe 5 years later, they realized, oh, somebody's been made, and the money's already been gone.
Yeah, it's too late.